At Easter time, we'll talk about how we're the ones who put the nails of Jesus, or the nails in Jesus' hands. You know what I'm saying? And I've done this kind of stuff before, and I'll get there with a hammer, and I may do it this year, I don't know. But I've done this kind of stuff before in youth ministry or wherever it is, and you put the nails you put on the cross, and you're hitting that thing. And if every one of those, bang, that's me. That's my sin. It's my sin that nailed Christ to the cross. It's my sin. And in that moment, we start getting it. In that moment, it's like, yes, it was my sin. It was my sin. And then we walk away and we forget that it was my sin. It's always my sin. In October, it's my sin. In January, it's my sin. In July, it's my sin. That I am the one who stands in the way of God, providing for his church. That I am the one who stands in the way of God, protecting his church. That I am the one who stands in the way of God, bringing spiritual awakening to my church and my community and the place that I live. That I am the one who, when you start thinking about that, I am the one, you start realizing it's not you, it's not them, it's me. I'm the problem. If the church isn't growing, it's not your fault, it's my fault. If God's not providing, it's not your fault, it's my fault. If I'm not obeying, it's not your fault, it's my fault. And if you'll start thinking the exact same way, our church changes today. Or you can walk away unchanged. I can't change that in you. And I quit trying to change people decades ago. I chose to love you regardless of your choices. Our church grows, our church doesn't grow. I'm not going anywhere. God provides financially, God doesn't. I'm not going anywhere. I'm committed. I love you. I'm not going anyplace. I will spend the rest of my ministry, the rest of my life that I am capable of functioning in ministry, I will spend right here. You got to decide. Do you want to watch the Tim show? The Tim and some staff show, or the Tim and some elders and staff show? Just Tim and the Tim and some elders and some staff and some lay leaders show? Or do you want to let God do in you immeasurably more than all you can ask or all you can imagine, according to his power that lives inside of you? Do you want to see people coming to Christ because of you? Do you want to be the person who leads the people to Christ, and maybe the person you want to see come to Christ is led to Christ by the person that you led to Christ? Maybe it's the money that you give that provides for your grandchildren someday. That your kids who are far away from God someday. I mean, I can tell you real stories about people who made sacrifices and done things in obedience, and they did not think about it down the road about what it meant. But God used their thing, their sacrifice, their obedience. God used their statement of trust, or whatever the thing was for them, that God used that to reach their family or their friends or their next generation of family. I can also tell you about stories of people who fought and who chose not to be a part of something. And when we reached their family, they had actually resisted the very thing that God used to reach their family.